There is this misconception that Dubai is inefficient, that Dubai is not sustainable, and it's very superficial. If people understand what this city has achieved within a short span of time, they would be able to understand that there is, first of all, a fantastic playing field for sustainability, because not a single player in this city has not looked at sustainability within their scope of work. The second element of it is to do what Dubai has done. They needed to be highly efficient. They needed to be very pragmatic in the way they use resources, because they would otherwise upset the normal economic laws of supply and demand. So to build this much, you don't want to put too much strain on the market, because price will escalate. So this balance that the city has achieved in economic term is a fantastic example of economic success in terms of sustainability that should be looked upon and replicated whenever possible. Well, there is a very large culture of excellence in this country, and even though it might not be perceived as such from the outside, the sustainability credentials of the UAE are actually extremely high, simply because there is a willingness to excel, there is a willingness to be best in class, there is a culture of corporate excellence. So when we look at a very dynamic, very young, very up-to-date asset class which is being built in this country, they wouldn't go for the inefficient approach, but they want to make sure their resources are looked upon for their preciousness, for their value, and not only in a short term, but in a rather longer term approach. In Dubai, you have a great leadership, very visionary, very long term, which allows the right choices to be made, simply because the time horizon is spread across few decades and not few months or few years. At the moment, we have a very minimal solar power, but this is only because the large solar PV plants will be commissioned in a span of a few months. There is actually a launch event taking place in a couple of days for the connection of the 200 megawatts. Dubai has had the largest single-site PV plant in the world being launched a few years back, and it's been gradually growing simply because of its success. So in the span of 1 year, Dubai broke twice the global world record for lowest tariff for solar, bringing the price down essentially to 2.9, and then passing the baton to Abu Dhabi, who managed to get the price further down to 2.4 cents per kilowatt hour. These are signs that times are changing, that renewables are becoming very cost effective. Obviously, when you look at the energy mix, you cannot simply rely on solar or wind, but you need to create a balanced approach. And Dubai is doing exactly this, is participating as part of the UAE energy strategy in a more diversified and spread energy diversification, where renewables will scale up to about 75% by 2050, together with all the other sources that have been launched, tried and tested as we speak.
Okay, but how is it at the moment? How is it the energy being produced?
At the moment, we have very efficient gas-powered combined cycle power plants. Again, I'm formerly a UN staff, so we do go by the Brundtland Commission definition of sustainability, which is very resource-based. And this is exactly the focus of Dubai Carbon. Now, you have to understand Dubai Carbon is an enabler of private sector buying public sector norms, legislation, strategies, and approaches. So what we do is predominantly translate a message of public engagement into business-centric terminology. So for us, sustainability is a direct synonym of resource efficiency.
Okay.
If I can do the same with less resources, more efficiently than my peer, I'm pursuing a culture of excellence, I might.
Yeah, true.